Hello, everyone, and welcome to our regularly scheduled SANA Institute 10-minute training. I am Dr. Rob Van Bergen, and today's topic is the role of inflammation in chronic pain. This is a basic yet critical topic because inflammation can often be misunderstood. You see, inflammation is the body's natural defense mechanism in response to injury, infection, or some sort of harmful stimuli. In its acute state, this is a vital process designed to protect and heal the body. However, when inflammation becomes chronic, it can lead to persistent pain and various health conditions. To me, inflammation's chronicity is kind of dependent on the different issues that one might be experiencing. Many people seem to believe that it can essentially require up to 6 months of chronic discomfort before it's considered chronic. Now, in the world of microcurrent therapy, that is an absolute eternity. You see, we see chronic issues framed as early as 2 weeks of persistent inflammation. Now, acute inflammation is your short-term, localized inflammation that is necessary for the healing process. This is just characterized by some redness, some swelling, some heat, and some pain. Chronic inflammation, though, occurs when the inflammatory response persists, often due to ongoing stressors like a poor diet, unresolved infections, toxins, or even autoimmune conditions. Over time, chronic inflammation can damage our tissues. It can disrupt normal body functions, and it can become a significant driver of chronic pain. So, inflammation causes pain through a variety of different ways. First off is the irritation of nerve endings. Inflammatory chemicals such as prostaglandins, cytokines, histamines, these are all released during the inflammatory response. And these chemicals sensitize the nerve endings, which lead to heightened pain signals. We also experience that swelling and pressure because chronic inflammation often causes swelling in the tissues. And this can increase pressure on the surrounding nerves, contributing even more to pain and discomfort. Beyond this, we have tissue damage and scarring. Persistent inflammation can lead to the breakdown of healthy tissues and the formation of fibrous scar tissue. This structural damage can restrict and create ongoing pain while restricting movement as well. We also can experience neuropathic issues. You see, over time, chronic inflammation can lead to changes within the nervous system, which amplifies our pain perception and creates conditions like central sensitization, where the nervous system becomes hyperreactive to what would normally be a very mild pain signal. So this leads to a bunch of different conditions, right? And many of these conditions, if not all of them, have a strong inflammatory component. Arthritis is one of the most common conditions in the world, and this is where inflammatory processes in the joints lead to swelling, stiffness, and pain. Fibromyalgia, chronic inflammation, is thought to contribute to heightened pain sensitivity and fatigue as well. Autoimmune disorders, so things like lupus or multiple sclerosis, involve an overactive immune response, which is driving inflammation and pain. And this is rooted in inflammation too, because the inflammation is making the immune system attack you. Digestive disorders are extremely common. Inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, these involve intestinal inflammation. Now, intestinal inflammation spreads like a fire throughout our bodies. We can also be leading into neuropathic pain. Conditions like sciatica or diabetic neuropathy can be worsened by inflammation around nerves. So, ultimately, there are some roots that can feed this inflammatory response. And from a naturopathic perspective, we can look at these different things and address them. Things like dietary factors. These should be obvious to anyone in the holistic health space. Things like refined sugars, processed foods, trans fats, allergens. These can all promote inflammation. And in North America, this is more prevalent than anywhere else in the world. Stress is a big deal as well. Chronic emotional or physical stress elevates cortisol levels and can dysregulate the immune system. And then we experience toxins, environmental toxins, including pesticides, heavy metals, pollutants. These can all trigger the body to become inflamed. Gut issues as well, things like leaky gut, something that people talk about a lot now. this can contribute to systemic inflammation. As I said, the fire can spread. And even a sedentary lifestyle, a lack of movement, impairs circulation and lymphatic function, promoting an inflammatory environment. Now, there are strategies we can use to reduce inflammation in our patients, putting them on an anti-inflammatory diet, whether that be something like paleo or Mediterranean, something that emphasizes whole nutrient-dense foods rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids, something like avoiding processing foods or processed foods, sugar, artificial additives, all things that we really can do by just eating fresh food. Herbs and supplements can play a role as well. Things like curcumin, ginger, omega-3s, magnesium, these all have potent anti-inflammatory properties and are a kind of a heavy impact for low effort kind of process for our patients. Techniques for stress management, whether that be meditation, yoga, breath work, anything that we can do to reduce stress-induced inflammation. And support with detoxification as well. We need to get the toxins out of the body. Something as simple as hydration or a sauna where sweat is happening, or even just liver supportive herbs can go a long way to moving towards detoxification for our patients. Exercise as well. We teach this at the Sana Institute. Gentle, regular movements like stretching can really help to enhance circulation and reduce inflammation. And of course, we've got to optimize the gut. And this doesn't just involve an anti-inflammatory diet. Things like probiotics, prebiotics, gut healing nutrients like L-glutamine, these can repair and strengthen the digestive system in our patients, preventing an inflammatory response in the body and helping to heal it, as long as you are in the presence of an anti-inflammatory diet. And of course, what about microcurrent? It wouldn't be a video from me if I didn't talk about that as well. In our teachings, microcurrent therapy can shut down inflammation locally or systemically. Now, there are two ways about this. Systemic treatments that target and calm the nervous system and digestive system, and local treatments that work over the area of inflammation and shut it down. Both of these use different frequencies, with the nervous system wanting low and slow, and the tissues of the body needing higher frequencies to get in there and shut it down. For nervous system trauma, we look to extensive protocols. We've talked about these a lot here. Vagus nerve stimulation, things like alpha ear clips. These use our low 7 to 12 hertz program, which is now available in all of our devices, Genesis 2, Evolution, and Pinnacle, to calm the nervous system down and in turn slow and stop the progression of chronic inflammation. Now, for the local treatments, we have these higher frequencies, right? Our rule of thumb here is anything above 100 hertz has some anti-inflammatory processes. This means programs in our devices like 121 hertz, 350 hertz SANSA, 350 Sanapain, all of these serve a similar purpose with different nuances, and they're going to be used depending on the practitioner's individual needs. All in all, by simply addressing inflammation at its source, easier said than done, right? And adopting a holistic naturopathic approach, it is possible to significantly reduce and even eliminate chronic pain in our patients, to enhance healing, to improve overall well-being. And a combination of these therapies we employ and study at the Sana Institute, these all contribute to this idea of healing the small, dysfunctional parts of the body in order to bring healing across the board. So hopefully you found this useful. A lot of information to unpack in here. And of course, you can rewatch and employ this immediately in many cases in your practice for your patients. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for another 10-minute training. Thank you.